Before I get too far on this video, I want to stop and let you know what's going on with Hugh. He just let me know that they have locked his Facebook account out, saying there's quote-unquote suspicious activity, which is all nonsense, of course. Right now, he believes he's suffering from the coronavirus. Been very, very sick lately. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. But the good news is that you who are listening here have helped get the real truth of your country out like never before. And that is big league. Today I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Bakker-Graham pedo connection. You may have heard Hugh talk about how he owns Bakker College, or his family owned Bakker College, which was on Hughes Street in Michigan. Look at the year that it was established, 1911, not unlike 9/11. And you'll see that it sits on 53 acres. Now that's the year of Hugh's birthday, 1953, and that is not a coincidence. You might even recall that Hugh's friend Walt Disney, with whom he went to church, told Hugh, actually went to church with another Disney who's related to him, told Hugh that he would mark a movie with his birthday, Herbie the Love Bug, with the same number 53. There it is. So it's not a coincidence, you see. So you may also remember something about that name, Bakker. It's significant that swindling TV evangelist Jim Bakker is from Muskegon, Michigan, not too far from the Detroit area that Hugh's from. His former infamous wife was Tammy Bakker, and it's no coincidence that as Tammy Bakker rose in popularity, it's about the same time as one of Hugh's relatives came into the world. Here is the Bakker family mentioned in the Warren Report, which is named after Warren, Michigan, where Hugh's from, and is the reason you recently had Elizabeth Warren running for president in 2020. That's how your real world works. Hugh's one-time girlfriend, Miss Bakker, once lived with him, and Lee Harvey Oswald's girlfriend, Judith Very Bakker, wrote the book I Killed Kennedy, which is full of lies and misdirection. Unsurprisingly, Lee Harvey Oswald was murdered on the 24th at age 24. Once again, I refer you to the 2 and 4 on Hugh's baby pics that were taken September 11, 1953 by Dell Towers. The 4 is in Roman numerals, and the pics were taken 10 days before they were developed. I've already gone at great lengths in previous videos and blogs to explain to you how many times the number 24 has been used to mark Hugh, such as with the recent murder of Kobe Bryant, who wore number 24 and who died in a helicopter crash the same way Timothy McCormack died in a helicopter crash in 2019 while talking on the phone with Hugh. Now back to Jim Bakker. Evangelist Jim Bakker was close enough to evangelist Billy Graham that Billy visited Jim while he was in prison. Jim even credits his recovery, bullcrap, on Billy Graham, and attended Graham's funeral in 2018. Doubtless, this close connection is why Jim married his current wife, Lori Beth Graham. Reflecting on the scandals and imprisonment of Jim Bakker, is it any wonder that Billy Graham died worth $25 million? I love how Billy Graham's amazing con job of collecting all this money is dismissed to the world as Billy showing love to Jim Bakker in prison. More likely, he was helping Jim Bakker know how not to get caught next time. The Bakker family and Graham family have always had close connections. Notice that Billy Graham lived in the Carolinas, the same as Senator Lindsey Graham. Billy was in North Carolina and Lindsey in South Carolina. Senator Graham's family owns WWJ Radio in Detroit, doubtless being a distant relative of Alexander Graham Bell, who first invented audible electronic communication. WWJ made the first radio broadcast on the air in the U.S. WWJ received its call letters on March 1922, or 3 of 22, or aka 322, the number so often used by the physicians' fraternity Skull and Bones. Graham's inventions made it possible for you to hear that famous "pull it" on 9/11 as WTC-7 was destroyed by demolitions. Remember hearing that on the radio? It's also no surprise that you have a famous WWJD saying, supposedly meaning, "What would Jesus do?" Rather, it's doubtlessly some satirical invention of WWJ Detroit, as the Graham family maintains its religious influence on America. Here is a great article about the association of Alexander Graham Bell, the first radio broadcast in WWJ Detroit. You can get to my blog first by clicking the link under my YouTube videos, and then just go and click this link. Can't find it on Facebook because Facebook, who is right now censoring Hugh, will not allow a link straight from my blog because it says it does not meet community standards. Gee, I wonder why. So here's Graham Media Station of the Year. You see that the Graham family is involved in media. WDIV is currently part of Graham Media Group, which originally held the call letters for WWJ. Now, WWJ also features Stephanie Davis, a black woman not unlike Jalea Davis, who was murdered in connection to the Whitey Bulger story. It's no coincidence that she would be on Graham's Detroit radio station. I've already made a recent video about the Davis-Bulger story, so I'm not going to do it on this video. The Graham family is not what you think them to be. They are just another extension of the pedo industry, destroying your country and hurting kids. Here is another Anderson, the same name as Nick Anderson, who was in the group of pedo rapists who kidnapped and raped Hugh at 4 years old, defending Senator Graham by saying that being a senator has not made him all that rich. He's just hiding the history of the Graham family reality. There's Joel Anderson. Lindsey Graham's career in politics hasn't made him super rich. Yeah, but he's from a very, very wealthy, very old family. Now, the Anderson family, besides just covering things up, likes to play religion too. Russell Anderson, who lives in the Detroit area, helped found Hyles-Anderson College in Crown Point, Indiana. It was Jack Hyles, the Hyles in Hyles-Anderson, who was on the editorial board of the Baptist newspaper, The Sword of the Lord, with Billy Graham. Jack Hyles' son, David Hyles, has been accused of murdering his 2 children, though I don't believe this has ever gone to court, and has been tossed around the country to different churches as he is consistently accused of various sexual predatory activities. Here's a statue of Jack Hyles at Hyles-Anderson College. I went to this college. I got one of these worthless degrees here. Here's Russell Anderson. He funded the beginning of Hyles-Anderson College. And here's his book, From the Coal Mines to the Gold Mines. Jack Hyles himself was the target of such accusations, as he is believed by many to have had an ongoing affair with his church secretary. Jack Hyles' daughter, Linda Hyles Murphy, called her father a cult leader and confessed to various illicit activities of her brother David as well as her father. Jack Hyles' other daughter, Cindy Scopp, is currently divorced from her husband Jack Scopp, as he is now in prison for taking an underage girl across state lines for sex as pastor of the First Baptist Church after Jack Hyles died. Though I'm not currently aware of Russell Anderson being accused of any such activities, he did fund the creation of Hyles-Anderson College in 1972 and spent many years attending a Detroit area church led by a graduate of Hyles-Anderson College. All this is just to say that the Detroit area Anderson family is deeply involved in Hugh's life, both as pedophiles and as agents of religious deception, covering the truth of Hugh Squier. Probably reminds you a lot of Jim Bakker's rape of Jessica Hahn as she appeared on Howard Stern, and Howard Stern himself is another pedo radio personality whose existence is to cover up Hugh Squier as he introduced to you Huey Lewis and the News. The Graham family has ties also to Detroit's WJR station as well. I found the book, The Graham Legacy, for free online, but Amazon is selling it for an astonishing $700. If you look down here in the appendices, Harry Mulford Jewett is the J of WJR, which stood for Weird Jewett Radio. Not Jewish, Jewett. It's a name, Jewett. Harry Mulford Jewett. There's a little bit on WCX from the book there. So, hard copies of this historical book must be difficult to come by. As you can see, they range from the $300 range to the $700 range, but something with this much historical truth in them, I would assume, keeps the price pretty high. So what does WJR in Detroit play today? They play Marie Osborne, who currently serves as Assistant News Director. The Osborne family is the very family that owned the home where Hugh was raped, along with many other kids in the Detroit area. It's this very reason that you also have Ozzy Osbourne, the Wizard of Oz, which I've mentioned before. The Wicked Witch and Scarecrow is the Wallace family that is also part of the pedo gang that raped Hugh in Osborne's basement. And the actress Hamilton that played the Wicked Witch was actually Hugh's teacher. And Dr. Oz, Marie Osmond, and Harry Osborne from the Spider-Man cartoons and comics. None of this is coincidence. It's all tied up with Hugh's life by the CIA to obscure the truth of dead kids, the murder of JFK, Jimmy Hoffa, and 9/11. The Graham family has a long, wealthy heritage in both the automotive and radio industries. They also have a strong and sturdy connection to the Bakker family and to religion. But everywhere they go, dead people just seem to follow, and their impotence precedes them to this day. Here, Lindsey Graham threatens to take Iran out of the oil business in wake of a missile strike, as if he were the president himself. The Bakker family continues to pretend to be religious as well. I was at a nursing home just a few days ago in southern Indiana, and I saw a picture on the wall of a baker breaking the ground for a church decades ago. They've been at it for a very long time. They even own their own religious publishing company. Notice the following book from Bakker Books has a foreword at the top, Leith Anderson. Isn't that interesting? But where did the historical Bakker family really get their start? Not surprisingly, after everything we've discussed, they started in porn and nude dancing. Here's Josephine Bakker from the 1920s, an erotic dancer and appearing practically nude on stage. Musicians often understand these associations, or at least their publishers do. It's no coincidence that the band Strippers Union is led by guitarist Rob Bakker. That is definitely not a coincidence. Nor should anyone find it odd that Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker pretends to go after revenge porn, as it is all being done to intentionally mock the public ignorance with the news publisher's understanding of real history. This is the history of your country. Your mail is delivered. What are you going to do with it?